Joel asks, taxes are due at the end of the month in the county I'm buying. Ooh, this is good. I see that two of my checks for recording have cleared, but my name isn't showing as the owner for those parcels yet. But how long does it take to see ownership change? I've seen anywhere from, I don't know, a week to a year.
I've
Seriously.
seen it be immediate to 2 years. I'll one
Right.
up you.
Yeah,
It
I
depends
know.
on how rural the county is. Like Maricopa County in Phoenix, it's the same day
Mhm.
because the lag is due to the fact that in more rural counties or who are further behind the times, the assessor database and the treasurer's database and the recorder's database are all different, and that causes a huge lag. So they're inputting stuff 3 times. But if you're lucky in the cities like urban, I think every county in California is actually pretty organized. It's all it can happen that minute.
Mhm. And some of them, what I want to point out though, Joel, is like where I was saying like a year. I've had some counties that they do them every December. That's just when they do them, and they convert them all at once. It's like they put them all in, and then December 31st they flip the switch, and then on January 1 it shows ownership. It
Right.
may have and it may have changed to hands 3 times in that period, but they still only do it at that time. So the most important thing to remember is once the deed is signed is when you technically own it. So if you have anybody that's concerned, gosh, it doesn't show you as the owner, that does not matter.
Yeah.
It's the deed signed, and here's the notary. It's mine. I'm available to sell it. They'll catch up. And I've never had anybody have any problems with that once I just explain it. Usually they just don't know, and
Right.
it's all cool. So awesome. Um, do you want me to go right on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Jean asked Jack and Jill. Just wanted to say I got both of my first and second sales
Yeah.
today. Yay! Profit on the first one was $1,200, and this feels
This is
so
great.
good,
It's good
Jean.
to get first deal out of your life.
Exactly. And the profit on the second one's $520 and some change. I love it. Held both properties less than a month. Oh, this is such good
Yeah.
stuff. Also, Jack, don't know if you got my email, but I've been killing it with that Navajo mailing you helped me
Oh,
with.
good.
Nice.
Yeah, I did.
Been buying a lot of property in that county as well as other counties that motivated sellers have land in. Picked up some nice parcels in Valencia, Luna, New
Yeah.
Mexico, Reeves,
All good
Texas.
things. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for everything. I am so glad you shared that.
Me too.
Thank you, Jean.
This is the right place to do that too.
Oh,
That's why we do this.
mm-hmm,
Thank you.
it's so
We're
great.
proud of you, man. Keep going.
Yep, cool. All right, Claire asks, Dad and daughter owned a property together. I think I saw this in Success Plan, Claire, and I apologize if I glossed
No,
right over.
that's
I think
okay.
the quarter mile I saw this. I'm glad you're answering this,
Yeah,
asking this again here.
this is a place to do that too.
Yeah, dad and daughter owned a property together. She got married and changed her name since the last deed. Okay, I have an idea first of all here.
Yeah.
So, two questions: what goes on the deed? Can I put married name, previously known as maiden name, and just leave it at that? Does the new husband need to sign something? Okay, can I share
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
what I would do first of all?
Yep.
What I would do first, Claire, is because if she still has some ID, because she might, if it's new enough that she's got married, she might still have some ID in her former name. You got dad involved, you got her involved. We're all assuming everybody's um, on the up and up, if that's
Hmm.
So that would be my first thing, Claire. Is I would say, look, I'm gonna send the note to your house. We're gonna put it in the exact name that's on the deed. You're gonna show them that old ID, your passport, because you didn't change your passport yet. Seriously, I've done this. Show them your passport that shows your correct name, that it matches the deed, and then here we have dad. Everybody signs, and now we're done.
Yep.
That's my
That's exactly what I would do.
first
I would
thing.
leave the husband out of it too, the new husband.
Exactly. Sorry. So that's the easiest way. Um, I've got something here. Thank you. All right. Hopefully that answers it, and then if it doesn't, we'll circle back
Yeah.
around. Trevor asks, anyone
I'd love to hear about how you. Yes.
anyone want to hear how I missed out on a $300,000 in equity on a Texas deal? P.S. Gene, you cost me an extra $500 on the 2 Navajo County 5 acres the other day. Ha ha ha. Wonder what that is. Okay, if she doesn't have an old ID, I would. You know what, Claire? I'd still go that way. She might have something that
I
has.
would. I like the old AD way.
I still do. Shucks,
I
I
don't
save all
see. I
my
don't
old
think there's anything.
passports.
This is the way we've handled it actually in the fairly recent past. You can go. There's all kinds of stuff you can do, but it's a reoccurring issue, and you know Isn't there a document, Joe, when you get married, that some kind of legal document that says I used to be Smith and now I'm Jones? I mean, this
Well,
is
it's
not
it's a
women.
marriage.
Women have been going through this stuff forever.
Yeah, you know what? Because she might be able to prove a marriage license. I'm so sorry, you guys, and call it done with that. So, I mean, that's the next step. Check to the
Yeah, marriage license.
right. That proves that was her name. Back then. I'm so sorry. Hang on a second. So, like 90 miles an hour today. I apologize.
Oh, good.
Thank you. So, I'm still going to go that path, Claire. And because Claire, before I start opening a whole can of worms and getting it all into everything, I would exhaust the easiest way out. And I would tell her to go dig out and go searching for some idea. Think real hard.
Right.
Do you still have your social in your maiden name? I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I would come up with something with the maiden name and make it as easy as possible so we can all just.
I mean, the marriage license too. It solves. You can go that route, and I
Mhm.
think that you can. It's the same thing as a death certificate, just to prove that it happened.
Mhm.
So
And that might be okay too with the county.
yeah,
But I would, like I said,
if there's enough equity in a deal like that you're even thinking about it this much, I would get the title insurance. And
yeah.
eventually, we're going to make through Title Mine. We're going to make this so easy to get title insurance and so cheap that Trevor, yeah, if you have your mic on, raise your hand, and I'll have you on the show.
Awesome. All right. Tim asked, guy agrees to sell us 5 acres in Oklahoma for $1,000. Nice. Very desirable location. Guy is elderly and is liquidating all of mom and dad's stuff. Mom and dad passed on many years ago. Guy is their only heir. The guy sends his death certificates, wills, power of attorney, etc. Looks hunky-dory to me. Decide to check with my attorney to see what he thinks. He says the property have to go through quiet claim process to legally unburden mom and dad's name from the property. I'm assuming your attorney's in the same state, so he knows all this. So you can get the deed in name from the property, so we can get the deed in our name. Attorney asks if we have an abstract. No, but order one us up costs us $1,000. Cost to process through quiet claim process $1,500 to $1,800. Let's call it $2,000. Now I'm into this property for $4,000, which is okay. I could still sell it for $8,000 easy, probably 10, and still be half at retail. Okay, you're answering their question. This is all working out great with me, and still be at half of retail market value. My question is, do I really need to order the abstract and go through the quiet claim? Or is this a scenario with my attorney similar to asking a dog if he's hungry?
I think it's closer to the dog's hungry.
Yeah, there might be.
There's a way you can simply probate. There's a way that assets are probated through an estate, even if the estate's closed, and that's the deeding process right there. So Colorado's got a real easy way to do that. California does too. Arizona's process is extremely difficult. I honestly don't know about Oklahoma, but that seems like a really complicated roundabout way to get the properties in their name.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would get a second opinion for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And don't do this yourself, by the way. This is something you want to try. But I'm not an attorney, so I don't know, and certainly not one in Oklahoma.
Cool.
Hey, JT Taylor, please, you're using the chat box to ask questions. So just put it in the actual Q&A area.
Right, you should see one up there. Awesome. Albert asks, when you sell a piece of property on terms, how do you pass the taxes over to the buyer? Do you bill them for it? Do you automatically collect from their credit card on file? Please advise.
We build it into the deal. So if we buy a property, let's say it's 40-acre property for $4,000, and the taxes are $100 a year, the way that we price it, let's say we sell it for $18,000 or $20,000 on terms, and the payment's $200 or $300 a month, or let's say $200 a month. When a tax bill comes, we just pay it. We pay it out of the money that the people have been paying, and we're real clear about that in the agreement. And we don't make it a line item or anything like that. We just do them the courtesy of paying the taxes on their behalf, and here's why. If you ask them to directly pay the taxes, they won't, and they don't do it, you could lose the property. So it's kind of like the landlord always pays a water bill. It's for the same reason. If it gets unpaid, then they just build it into the rent.
Mhm. Good question. Well, now this is interesting to me here too that Luke's adding in that for California, like you don't have to have an ID, you can get witnesses. He said in California you need one witness if the notary knows them, or two if the notary does not know them. I took the notary test. I didn't
I
know
don't
that.
either.
I was just do the ID and move on.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Sanctuary wrote question on best methods for list calling. When an owner has multiple parcels, do you mention in the cover letter plus any other parcels you might own, or do you just send multiple offers? Thanks. Oh, it's Steve.
We don't. This is a great question. So in every, well, go ahead, Joe.
So
We run a different scenario, a different purchase agreement scenario based on software that is pretty complicated. So in the universe of when you scrub your whole data down and get a price and you're ready to do a mail merge, you're going to see a bunch of duplicates in there. We process the duplicates differently, and it's too complicated and way beyond the scope of this to describe it. But that's how we do it. Otherwise, you can do it your way, and you'll probably get the same result. But the effect of the way we do it is follows. So we can see that there's one company or one guy that owns 50 properties that are all 5 acres. Well, if you send a mailer to him that says, "I'd like to buy your 5 acre property for $500," and it's not as effective as you say if you send him a 3 or 4 or 5 page offer listing all of the assets on the back, and it says, "I'd like to buy all of your properties for $500 each, or $22,342." That's a lot more effective and enticing for him to sign it and go back. So how you do that from a computer standpoint is your choice. I know how we do it.
having said that, I mean, if you just got one-offs, kind of thing here
Yeah.
and there, we don't do multiple. We'll do one to the person, and then when they reply, that's one of the things that we always ask is, "Do you have anything
Yeah, you
else?"
should absolutely always ask. I mean,
Always.
this call is packed full of people who fall out of their chair when they ask that question and they say, "Oh yeah, I do have 14 other properties and they're all in different states and they're all awesome. And if you want to buy those too, that's great."
Claire's a great example. Claire
Yeah,
stumbled across a guy that she got with a broker, and the guy had like 500, and she could just buy them when she wanted, and they worked out an arrangement. I'm like, this is
we're
fantastic.
doing a deal with a member
Mhm.
right now. Because of that, we're buying 180 something properties.
Got it. Okay. Jonathan said, "Hey guys, I joined in February and I'm working on sending my first mailer. Yay. I was wondering if you could explain exactly how to target a county mailer so that only hits a few specific zip codes.
Yeah.
I have tried unsuccessfully to do this in requests. Also, thank you so much, Jack and Jill, for all you do. You guys are the best."
Oh,
Jamie said.
sure.
Thank you.
Thanks. The situs address. So we're dealing with rural acreage. So I answer this question a lot. We're dealing with rural acreage, so the situs address is not a priority. Until it's improved, the county or typically the post office or anything like that, they're not going to deliver mail to a vacant property. But it is all in a zip code, right? So if the data doesn't work for a zip code, what you need to do is go to the county or call them and get an index map. The index map will show you the geography location according to index scheme. So picture the county that you're in right now and picture a map on the wall. In the northeast corner, let's say, the APN scheme might be 101. In the southeast corner, it might be 403. And in the southwest corner, it might be like a real urban city like Dallas, let's say. All of those APNs are going to start with something different. So an assessor assigns APNs when subdividers go ask them to. So the property that's in Dallas or the big urban city is priced real differently. The stuff in the northeast corner, the 101 property, really cheap. Southeast corner might be a little bit more expensive. So you have to learn to price that way. This is a pro level question. I wouldn't worry about it in your first mailer, but pricing. If you've been hearing Jill and I have been talking about it on the show a lot on the Cash Flow from Land show.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. And the sooner you get familiar and comfortable with APN pricing, the more successful you're going to be, more money you're going to make. We would never think of doing a mailer without APN pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Luke asked, what do you do, if anything, about negative feedback on sites like Yelp from people who got mail and don't want to sell? the Pirate Bay posts their
Trevor, you're next.
hate mail from all the regulators and seem to get more credibility out of
Yeah.
it.
There's a dispute scenario on all of those sites. I don't know about Yelp. There's a reason we don't have a Yelp account, and this is a great argument to have separate an acquisition site and a sales site. So they're completely unrelated. You're still going to send letters out even after this bad press under that name, and it still could hurt you. So the Better Business Bureau. I know I sound like an old man even saying those words, but
haven't heard that in a while.
They'll complain even if you don't have an account. The older people complain, and then they'll send you a thing, and you just explain it. And 9 times out of 10, whatever dispute scenario you have to go through, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. We're not harassing. This is one argument to sending an offer to an area and one person once and moving on.
Yeah.
Then you can't be, people say, I touch them 5 times. Well, some people might think that's harassing them 5 times. So I don't know.
I don't think so.
I know, but
we have a master list.
You know what I mean?
If somebody, we never talked about this ever. We keep a list of angry people, and they get removed. We run a scrub right through at the end of every mailer to make sure they're not in there.
That's going to happen too sometimes.
When you want to waste 50 cents. That's really why I do it, because I don't want to waste 50 cents.
Exactly.
Trevor, we're going to hold on, sir.
What are we doing?
Oh, Trevor ducked out.
Oh.
If you put your hand back up, Trevor, I'll answer your question. Sorry.
Was he going to do something?
I'm not ignoring you. Oh, here it is.
There he is. Trying to get you to be.
I'm trying to answer it. I'm a little new at this.
How do we unmute him? We're working on it. Let me ask another question while you're working on that.
Yeah, I'm having problems.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
JT asked, in your training CDs.
Wait, here you go. I'm sorry, Joe.
Soon to not be CDs.
Hello.
Trevor, go.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. You're one of the most entertaining members we've ever had. Just,
dude, you can't
for taking the pressure off of me today. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, here's a little story. We had I sent out, I think, 400 letters to a county southwest of where we're from, to sections and bigger. Anyway, went through the mile, went through everything. And again, my dad being the appraiser, went through, offered $1,000 an acre for this stuff. We're usually selling it around $1,500 to $1,700 an acre, just depending on access and things like that. Well, sent the letter out. I know exactly who the guy is, and like 2 weeks later, I'm at my oldest's baseball game, and one of the broker in that area his son is on the baseball team too. He's like, hey man, I need to talk to you and your dad and uncle about a deal I got. I'm like, really? What deal is it? And he told me the owner's name, who I know exactly who it is, and I know exactly what I offered him, and all this other stuff. And he goes, guess what? He said that he didn't even know that his property was worth $1,000 an acre.
Oh no. Oh no. You quickly tried to backstep and say that was an error.
I hope you made the agent look like really bad.
No, well, okay. This guy's given us a ton of listings and all this other stuff over the years too. So
okay. Oh, okay.
I mean, and I mean, his family's been known. Again, there, it's a town of 1,000 people. And the closest other town is 2,000, 3,000, and that's 60 miles away. So I mean, it's out in the middle of BFE, but it's right on the interstate. Anyway, the good thing is he talked to me and my dad and my uncle, and he's going to get the listings on it. But I think we're going to agree to the price of $1,050 plus 1/8 minerals. And the real thing that we're fighting about is the executive, executive rights as far as making deals when it comes to the oil and gas stuff. It's currently in production. It's about $40,000 a year. This is a lot of this stuff happened in, when was it, 2008, 2009, whenever dry gas went so high, natural gas. It's not an oil play down there. Anyway, But hopefully whenever that gets done, the nice thing is it's 3 sections. It splits up easy.
3 sections for $1,000 an acre.
$1,000 an acre, and the broker's jumping up and down saying if we can get it bought at that, he is going to be able to list it for $1,600, and he's got guys waiting to buy the thing. They just, we'll buy it for about 1.9, and make about $1 million on the deal. However, I'm only going to be able to put a small piece in it because I didn't find the deal, so I missed out. Instead of doing thirds with Dad and Ed, I missed out on $300,000 worth of acre.
Man.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
you know what? There's another deal like that for you around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I was just hilarious that, I know the guy, my son plays on the baseball team, all this other stuff. And I was like, I know exactly why he did. I threw a little fit. I'm not going to lie. Whenever Dad and Ed and them were telling me about the deal, I was like, I know exactly who that is. I know exactly why he came up with $1,000 price tag too, because that's what I offered him. So
do you tell your dad as the appraiser the number that you need to have appraised?
Oh yeah, no, we'd go through. Oh yeah, well, yeah, we'll BPOs and all that other stuff. Yeah.
I have to just point out that what I got out of this was Trevor's a little disappointed about missing out on $300,000, but not that disappointed. You're obviously doing okay.
Yeah, and you can laugh about it, right?
Exactly.
Well, it's staying in the family. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. But yeah, it's interesting. And then, one thing that I'm actually having success with a bunch of these higher priced 35-acre deals in Colorado is that back up to national forest land is going by and talking, y'all are talking about pricing, but you go to those brokers, you talk to them exactly, you get what they found the past year, what is sold, where exactly it's sold, you find it by the subdivision. And then with that RealQuest, guys, you can use it by the subdivision. You can find it out, right. And then you get on that index map or whatever, and make sure because that's the thing about it too. There's a lot of these subdivisions that are phase 1, phase 2, all this other stuff. Make sure cross-reference that with your APN numbers. But whenever you go in there, you can go like I am under contract for 2 35-acre deals right on the deal. I don't know. We'll see if it closes or not. But for $30,000, they're worth $80,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just. Like you said, you can get as surgical as you want to with it. I didn't do it right off the bat, but
right.
I'm getting there. So
and those are the kinds of deals we're doing right now too. Yeah. We have to make $100,000 or we're not. We still have the small lot operation and it does really well, but the bigger deals like this are the way to go. Like we talked about. The thing about Trevor too is not only is he smart like this, he's like a star salesman.
Mm-hmm.
He's afraid of nothing.
Yep.
He's in first gear all day.
Nothing like getting cussed out, and I play it for my wife. Like the guy the other day, I bought a 40 in Navajo County, right outside of Snowflake, and the guy actually called me the first time, was cussing me out, and he's an Indian guy from Phoenix, and it was hilarious. I couldn't hear anything. I could understand the F-bombs, and that was about it. So.
Anyway. You still bought from him.
Eventually, yeah. And I came back and I was like, all right, listen, dude, there's no sense in getting that angry about it. So anyway.
Bingo.
That's a universe. Every language knows that word. I've never been yelled at it in any Native American language. That's awesome.
Well, I got to go, guys. Y'all have a good deal.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks for the story.
Okay. Bye.
That's so good.
Go ahead, Joe.
I think we answered the one up there. Yes. All right. That was such good information. I love it. All right. JT's got a couple here. So in your training, you give instructions on how to select a county. When applying your strategy, there seems to be a handful of counties that actually match your criteria that are rural enough and cheap enough. Can I do a more populated county?
Yeah.
1 or 2 counties away from a major population area in Texas and find success?
Oh,
if so, what suggestions do you have?
Did Trevor not perfectly time? Trevor just answered his question. Hey, the real answer is this. This works in every county. Mm-hmm. It's just the variable is pricing. So Trevor's buying, he just told us in Colorado, 40-acre properties for $30,000 each. He's going to sell them for $80,000. Mm-hmm. So, we talk about pricing all the time, and there's a glaring, real perfect example of, the kahunas, the huevos on this guy, buying property for $1,000 an acre. He's not scared to spend $2 million cash to generate and to 2.9 or whatever the numbers were. It's 1.6. I don't remember, but
Right.
that's what Jill and I are prepping this whole group for. That's how you move through silver to gold to platinum to black level memberships.
Well, and your bank account follows along.
Because you just there's no scared money anymore after a while, but you have to do the small deals to convince yourself and to learn and all that. So Trevor, thank you.
So you have JT has a follow-up thing here too about I want to get and like to do an option strategy for my first mailer. I heard you say good idea to bad idea. Can you clarify? Happily. When you're first starting out, I would not try to option on especially on your first mailer. Budget what you can afford. If you just only
Even
have,
it's $500.
Yeah, I don't care what it is. Say it's $500,000. All right, go buy 2 for $250.
$500. You said $500,000.
Or excuse me.
Because we're talking
500. I'm sorry, 500 or $1,000.
Oh,
that's what I meant.
I thought
sorry.
you were talking ahead.
No,
Trevor zeros at the end.
No, so whatever I would not start out trying to option properties, especially on your first mailer. Build up your cash flow. Get some transactions under your belt, and like Jack's saying, gosh, even if it's just a couple $100, buy those, double your money, keep doing that a couple times. Now maybe you've got $10, $15, $20,000 sitting there in your acquisition fund. Now we can start making some different decisions.
See if you like it.
That's true too.
There's a handful of people that are like, one person called us out of since we started this, said, our skin, me and my wife, our skin's just not thick enough for this. I mean, I think we're upsetting some people, and that's against our religion or whatever. I don't know. So you don't want to spend and make a $60,000 mistake,
right?
So just to see, I personally, I mean, just listening to Trevor, he's in it for life. He's hooked, and so obviously so are we.
Totally.
I don't think there's anything more fun than this.
So yeah. So then later on, and then what we do later on, when options, to answer your question more, JT, is a good idea. Now you're buying and selling multiple parcels. You've got this healthy acquisition fund, right? Now, as you're going along, you're going to isolate some really good ones that you're going to go, what? Well, there's a couple things. You're going to start doing terms properties. That's one. But you'll also start finding some that you'll know the area, and you'll go, you know what? This one, I usually use an option when I'm not really thrilled about the price, but I'm not enough that I'm not thrilled enough with the sales price that I'm going to hand the guy the cash and take my chances, but I have a really good idea how I think it's going to go. So I'll say something like, all right, here's the deal. I'd give you $8,000 tomorrow. I know you're holding out for 12.
Right.
Okay, so how about this? If you'll let me try to sell this property, give me 90 days.
Right.
I will try to sell this property for you, and I'll try to get your 12,000. I think I can, but let me work on this. That's an option. So now what am I doing behind the scenes? So he signs my one-page option. I get my 90 days. We're all good. Now I'm putting him on my website and everything for 15, 16. I don't know what it is, because I still want to make a couple $1,000s off the deal. Maybe not make that much is what I thought I would have made, but that's one I'm doing an option. And then if it sells, hey, I owe the guy $12,000. What if I sell it for $17,000? Great. I'm going to get $5,000 off it. That went perfect. Or if it doesn't sell and it's, whatever, then I'm not worried about it.
Exactly, Jill. And then, so there's a couple other points I have to make on it. Options, you can feel, when you talk to a seller for a few minutes, you can tell whether they're sophisticated enough or interested enough to handle something like this. My comment has always been, look, you've owned it for 14 years. Is 6 months going to kill you? But, and you're holding out for $4,000. Is it really that important, or do you want me to just send it for right now? So that's part of it. The other thing is optioning, it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than getting a signed offer, either opening escrow and closing the deal right there. So my gut, even though the money can be really good, and we're part of a deal right now where there's oil involved, where there's both properties are optioned, and they've been for sale for a while, and they're both getting sold, and they're both very profitable. So you have to weigh what you want. I'm not an option fan. I'm a cash fan.
My goal with everyone here is to set you up for success, and I want you to buy everything right with the cash you have on hand, and not sweat it, and have a bunch of little easy transactions, and then you got your feet wet. Now go be Trevor.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to
go
be.
fail like Trevor.
No. But you know what I mean. That's it. So I hear where you're coming, JT, and it's an easy out to say, well, I'm not going to put down any cash. Yeah, but you're also creating more headaches for yourself. So let's think about that.
So now
Good
that we've
question.
confused you,
I know.
because you're correct in saying you've heard everything from it's a good idea to a
To a
bad
bad
idea,
idea.
which is basically what we just reinforced for you.
Exactly. All right. I think this is Mark Sharp. Okay. If a property is bought in the middle of the tax year, are the tax? Oh, this is a really good question. Are the taxes prorated like in a house purchase? Do we have to pay the seller back for the prorated amounts?
So in a title, 9 times out of 10, the title company will do it that way. I have seen title companies where it's so small, like $20 a year, that they just keep it on one person's side. But when you're doing it with just a notary close, like we talk about, forget it. Whatever the tax amount is, when you're purchasing the property, you inherit it. So if they're all caught up, or it's prorated, you inherit that. If there's $7,000 of back taxes on the property, you inherit that. If there's a tax lien on the property, you got to undo that. You inherit that. You don't prorate. There's no closing schedule on a notary close.
And I use it to my advantage sometimes
Yeah.
too, Mark, because they're staring at a tax bill and they'll say, do I pay this $200 bill or whatever it is? I go, you know what? Don't worry about it. Or like even a $20, who knows what it is. I will say, don't worry about it. And if it's high enough, I'll say, don't worry about it. But tell you what, we're going to take, the $200 off. My offer went from $1,000 to $800 and they're still happy.
Right.
So that's really cool. And then when you get it, not to complicate it, you can pay it off at any time, or
And
you
should.
can, and you don't have to
There's
do
a
it right
tax,
away.
yeah, there's a lot of back taxes you want to shut. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah, you don't have to get the taxes
I
current.
just got kicked under the table.
It's okay. No, you didn't. You don't have to make the taxes current when you record the property, just so you know. And that's a nice thing too. Because what if your cash is light, but you want to get it current as you're selling it? We have totally taken on property that they were overdoing the taxes, bought the property, put it out to market it, and then not paid off the taxes until it's sold.
As long as you disclose everything.
Mm-hmm. And I said, at the time of transfer, the taxes will be current. And they're like, yay. And then everybody's happy.
Right.
So cool. And it saved my cash at that time. Albert asks, how many times and how often do you mail the same county, especially if you had some success in that county?
Here's what works best for us. So if we have a real successful mailer, or let's say a 5-acre mailer, that's great. We do not then remail the same county and the same acreage. But what we do is we say, all right, now let's go after the 6 to 20 acre properties, and the 20 to 40, and on and on and on. Mm-hmm. So we don't mail the same people twice ever. That being said, I've heard people say, members and everybody say, oh, we mail them 3 times. Seth mails postcards. Mm-hmm. He'll mail in the series and he does very well with that. So it's a personal preference. I can only tell you what we do. It's not hard to fail at this, no matter what you do.
Thank you, my Yahoo.
I mean, it is hard to fail.
Just got that.
That's what I meant. It's hard.
Mark's my Yahoo in Missouri. We have a little joke going.
Oh.
All right. I'm getting married in 6 months and have a limited budget.
That's why you're anonymous.
We don't want to know that. I have about $3,000 to $4,000. Nice to get going in the land business. Got it. My question is, with limited acquisition funds, would you ever recommend sending mailers out to properties slightly higher price, while I'm thinking Oklahoma to northern Texas, with the intention of optioning them?
Yes.
Are properties in the 5, 10, 15K range hard to sell for cash? No.
So it's all what's for sale in the market at the time. So you can answer this question by going to LandWatch and Land and Farm and researching the sale prices that are happening or listed, and adjust your price in that way. But I'll tell you right now, whoever you are, you're going to have a tremendous amount of success like this if you keep an exact open mind like you have about pricing. There's a whole untapped land market out there all over the country at the $5,000 to $10,000 range. Mm-hmm. We scrape the bottom here in this group. Well, Trevor doesn't. And the big deal is that, Jill and I are going to release at some point in 2018 a program that uses the exact same tools. It doesn't cost you any more at all. Uses the same tools, but a new program on how to parcel split. It's called Parcel Split. parcelsplit.com. How to buy a huge piece of property, put some roads in, and split it all up.
Mhm.
It's extremely profitable.
Yep.
And it costs $1,000 an acre at least.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised the people that plop down. I mean, and Luke, some of these people, and Claire, they've had these calls. Hi, I'm transferring funds right now. Is it 60,000 even? How much am I
Yeah. Oh,
transferring?
we have
Yeah,
this all the
done.
time.
That's what I'm saying. So those things that's one of the things that I've learned. It's hard to get out of your own head sometimes. You have to, whatever our limitations are, there's somebody out there that has plenty of cash. Don't even think about it. You just got to reach them.
$3 million is a joke to a lot of people in this business.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Trevor's just did a what, $1.9 million
Yeah, he's
deal?
like, darn, oh well, I missed that one. I'll get the next
Yeah.
1.9. Okay. Luke says, everyone have a combined do not mail hateful people list for the group.
Oh, that is brilliant.
But it'd be hard to scrub that in, wouldn't it? Though,
No.
to run it against.
No, it's
okay.
a tiny little duplication software piece at the end.
Okay.
Thank you. That's a great idea. I'll
Okay.
look into that.
All right, cool. Claire said, I tried pricing by APN in my county of choice, small Midwest, but I haven't found enough comps to see any kind of pattern.
Yep.
Other suggestions?
Yeah, Claire. So, and we talked about this on a call last week. If there's no comps, I mean none, then I would start to wonder if that county is worth it. Because I know exactly the counties that you're talking about, and I'm not gonna say their names here, but I know that they're extremely rural, extremely north, and wouldn't be anyone's except Claire, except your dad's idea of fun with the snowmobile and stuff. So I would go. That would force me to go in even cheaper. I know. I almost never say that, but that concerns me if there's no comps at all. I would
just
dig
to
into
cover
that
yourself.
Deeper. Just that it's such a rural area that no one wants to have any part of it at all. If it was out in the Southwest, I would say that doesn't scare me at all. But if there's snow and stuff, I personally don't like snow.
We've noticed. You've gone pretty much as far as you can away without going to Mexico.
We cannot get further west than we are right now. South and west.
There we go.
We were in Scottsdale one time. It's like a year ago, and Jill stood up and said, "This is the furthest northeast I've ever lived."
Oh my gosh,
it was
that's
hilarious.
I'm actually looking out the conference room window right now. We're in our conference room, and I can't quite see the water. But if I got in a chair, I bet I could.
I can see it. I can see it there.
Oh, is it right there? Okay, cool. Okay.
So I hope that answers it, Claire. When there's no comps, no for sale comps, no sold comps, I think I might call maybe the recorder and say, do you guys ring a bell every time you record a change of ownership?
Exactly.
And
what do you do all day?
Once every 6 months, that would concern me.
Right. Do you only work one day a month?
Yeah.
There we go.
I want to be the recorder in Canada.
Oh my gosh. I want to be the recorder in that Texas, the one I was working with that. They didn't even have a phone number. I had to call the sheriff to get a phone number to the county. I'm not kidding. Because it wasn't published anywhere.
There's a county.
I really tried to track down this person.
There's a county in Arkansas that there's no computers. There's just a woman in the front, chewing gum loudly.
I believe it.
And a switchboard from the 60s.
And her name's Betty.
Yep. And they have, she's got a beehive hairdo with cat eye glasses. And she,
there we go. She's been doing that same job for 65
years. Since she was 21.
Exactly. Nobody does it better.
And
she's going to die in that chair.
And there's files everywhere. File cabinets and paper and flat maps.
And they close down when she goes on vacation.
And they only take checks.
Yeah. That's so good. Oh my gosh. All right, Jean said, one of my buyers from today is an unmarried couple. If you were to make a professional recommendation to them as to how they should take title, what would you recommend? And yes, Jean, exactly what you said. Joint tenants with rights of survivorship.
Gene always answers his own questions. I like it.
I like this.
Hey, when they're married, we even do it that way.
Yep, same thing.
When it's two brother and sister, we do it that way. When there's two individuals, or two corporations, or one corporation and an individual, we always joint tenant it. Always.
With rights of survivorship.
This marriage thing, it complicates everything.
Careful.
And that's that's a topic for not an episode, but a whole show.
Yeah,
People make a lot of money marriage counseling for a reason.
there you go.
People get kicked under the table by their significant other for saying stuff
I
on
am
the air
not
often.
doing anything. You're silly. All right, T. White asks, researching areas for my first mailer. Wondering if it makes sense to focus on cheaper land in West Texas, for instance, where the pricing may be simpler to start, or go with areas that may be less saturated but seem more difficult to price to start out.
The latter. West Texas is packed full of $100 an acre property, and it's easy to buy and it's easy to sell. There's some real creative counties that are not against the western, perimeter of Texas, but a little closer in east. And if you creatively price those, you can make. There's tons of money to be made there.
Okay. Thank you. Also last week you mentioned larger lots have been working out well.
Yeah.
Does that mean larger than 5 acres?
Yes. When we say acreage, we mean everything north of 5 acres. I should probably explain that.
Mm-hmm. And Claire's, yeah. You're saying I should really just think twice about even doing the county, or did you say go in even lower on an offer price, or both?
I don't know, Claire. I just think with your experience now, Claire's really good at this now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would avoid that. We talked about a bunch of other counties and mixing them all in. I think I would avoid those Midwest counties, and I think I would just hit it harder in the other counties that we talked about.
Has Claire been in our, Claire, I don't know if it's been 2 years or 3 years you've
Claire's
been in our world.
She's like number 5.
Or it was like bugging us, like, are you guys released this yet? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, her kids
Yeah.
are 2 years older. She had tiny little kids.
Yeah. Her kids are going to graduate high school. We're going to still all be here.
When her kids graduate high school, she's going to be Trevor.
Yes, she will. She'll be retired and long gone.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it.
This is a aeronautical engineer, stay-at-home mom who is knocking it out of the park.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I know she's an engineer. I'm not 100% sure which kind of engineer you are.
Thank you. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I joined Mark Podolsky because I was so frustrated with you guys not coming out with your program.
I know she was on the wait list.
I do remember that.
I do remember
She's
that
like,
too.
I wish you guys would get this out faster. I'm like, I know you're right. It was so funny. That's okay. I'm sure we got something good out of that. So
that's the first time I ever heard of someone joining Land Academy first and then going to Mark Podolsky.
No, she joined Mark because we didn't have ours yet.
I know, I'm trying to make a joke.
Oh, you're silly. Hey, while we're waiting for some more questions, will you want to show me the sneaky thing, the surprise stuff you showed me today?
Yeah, sure. Okay. That's a good idea.
Jack has a couple quick surprise things.
You go to Land Academy. If you look at your screen and you go to Land Academy, I add, so, the newer people, if you watch the program and you hear me talk about tax sale lists and to go do the census maps, well, we finally got it up for you so that you can do it yourself. You go to, in the menu here, go to resources, back tax lists, and population maps. So you click on population maps. We're going to clean this up a little bit more. You'll see I have all 50 census maps in there.
Thank you so much, Jack. We don't have to go searching for them. Jack put them on our site for us.
And then resources, and then back tax lists. And there's a table. It's probably 27 to 30,000 list table. It'll come up in a second. We're trying to make it faster. So it has a historical back tax liens and back tax deed resources and the numbers. So what you want to look at is this here. See this these numbers.
So instead of fretting about, I don't have that site, or now it's not free, or what should I use as my gauge, just come right under here, go look at the resources, look at the list, and there's your gauge, just to give you, because that's all you need to do is eyeball, boy, okay, I see a lot of properties with a lot of back taxes. Okay, that takes care of that checklist item. That's a good county. Now I can go on to the next thing.
Right. And so the lists are from 16, 15, 13. I just decided to include them all. So you can look at all of Baldwin County, Alabama, for example, and say, you know what? There's a lot of back tax property in that county. It might be a great place to send a mailer. Every county in the country is in here. This list is like 30,000 units long.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very
Yep,
much for doing
Arkansas.
that, Jack.
Here's a good. Let me just think this through, Jill. I mean, walk all the way through it. So in Arkansas, you can see which counties. Arkansas has got over the counter deeds. All right, that's good. Means you can walk into the door in Arkansas and buy in Carroll County 1,100 properties. So we'll clean this table up so it's all nice and lined up. But this is a good resource. It doesn't cost anything.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, Claire added that there are comps, just not a pattern by APN. For the property. She has comps. She can find comps, but she can't figure out a pattern by the APN.
Yeah, that's what and who screws that up even more is our group because they're buying them so cheap.
Right.
I single-handedly wrecked a subdivision several years ago in the comparison values. We bought and sold so much real estate there.
Got it. All right. That one. All right. So, all right. Our anonymous getting married person comes here. Should I price my desert mailer at around $100 an acre, or should I go close to $250 an acre, which would be 25% of the lowest comps I'm seeing on LandWatch?
Then go to 250.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the $100 an acre days are kind of over.
Mm-hmm.
The $150 an acre days are not over at all. But I think the scraping of the bottom that's how we've been pricing desert property since 1999, and I just think it's kind of over.
Mm-hmm.
125, 150, 175.
It's just something to say. And we have done it. I know people have done less. It's a good just to kind of get your point across. But don't be married to that ever.
Right.
And you're right. You scale it up, scale it down. Don't get. I'm not saying don't get married. I'm saying don't get married to that price.
I was looking at some property in New Mexico. This is like 15 years ago when I still looked at property, and there's a rancher that owned both sides of he was a huge ranch, and the highway went right through it. So, and he had billboards up that he was renting to people, so like big companies. And he must have recently got unmarried because he had a billboard after billboard. It started with "Don't get married," don't sign contracts. It was he would drive through.
On the front. Seriously?
Yeah,
that's weird. That's really weird. Okay, Mike is asking. Yeah, no, that's being changed here, Mike. So Mike apparently had the Parcel Fact demo. I don't even have the Parcel Fact.
Oh, the Parcel Fact demo, I'm told, is back up.
Oh, I'm dying to try to find a couple parcels. I tried the hypotheses and without.
It's up.
And without. I even tried Cook County because I was sure it would have the data. It just returns a blank page no matter what. There's a link to the demo on parcelfact.com. I didn't know that.
There is. I try to keep you out of the IT
stuff.
Apparently.
You know what? I could have used this. Thank you very much.
Mike, if you're on the computer right now, can you just verify that it works? If you go to here, I'll just do it on the screen here.
Say it's getting a blank.
Up till about an hour ago, that's how it was.
I'm so excited for Parcel Fact.
Me too.
I cannot wait. Anyone that doesn't know what Parcel Fact is, it's going to change your engineering world.
Yeah, I don't know. Can somebody send me an APN that they're trying to find, and I'll plug it in here. I don't have one readily available.
Yeah, what's the one you're trying to find? Quiet day today. How are you, Jack?
I'm doing great.
Good. Without announcing anything, I can't wait to announce some stuff next week.
You can talk about it.
I can announce that we're going to have some announcements. I can announce that we got our team working at top speed to talk about first gear. Yeah. And so there's going to be several things coming up real quick. Because
within the next 14 days, the cash flow from land program will be web enabled. So you can watch it there. Oh, here we go.
Oh, good. Thanks, Kyria. Kyria gave us an Arkansas APN.
Yeah, the DVD program will be web enabled, and the user dashboard where you can log on and use all these products will be announced and all that.
It's going to be really cool.
Pretty much every week we're going to be like announcing some good new stuff.
Yes. How's the advertising going for Landpin? Is that started yet?
Yes, it has. I will return some analytics on that shortly. That we'll make that uh, part of the call every Thursday.
I'm going to answer questions while you're putting in
Yeah.
Carrie's APN. Anwar says, question about the business, but not technical. In one of the older podcasts, you talked about a year when you did 5 million in sales and said it was so stressful you would never do that again. What was so stressful about it? What would you have changed to make it less stressful? And do you still stand behind that statement of never doing that again? Boy, I hope not.
No, I do. Well, I mean that we did just a ridiculous amount of deals to get to that number. Now we do 5 million easy, and we do it in 30, 40 deals. But would I go back and change it? Absolutely not. What I meant about that was here's the root of that, Anwar. We never had the tools like you guys have. We never had the tools the way that you guys had. So, that's what makes it stressful is like having to do the engineering on every single property, that we just don't have to do that anymore. Not having a place like Landpin, right? This is before the days of Landpin, Landwatch, and Land and Farm. There's nothing like that. So all we were doing is posting property on eBay for $1 no reserve 30-day auction, closing 10, 15, 20, 30 properties a week,
right,
with no deed perfect. So we had to do all that. So that's the deal. Can you read that APN to me, Joe?
Sure. 320-03950-000. Got the Carroll County, Arkansas?
Yeah.
Cool. Ta-da! Look how fast that was.
Yeah, it is open. It's running through 148 million properties.
Fast.
Congratulations, Kyria. This is a hell of a property. So this is just a beta, and it gives you ideas of maps and stuff like that, and some basic information. When it's actually open up, returns like 150 records of information. Everything that's in the assessor database, and then many. We haven't perfected it yet, but we're within days, I'm told. And then you can just take these maps, copy and paste them, and use them in your posting.
Just because the adjoining one too for over a half acre.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
Great property.
2 questions along the same lines here that we haven't answered. One is Daniel's asking about BluePay, and at the same time, JT's asking about Stripe with FreshBooks. So they're building their website. So awesome. So BluePay isn't that what
BluePay is what will be connected to Landpin, and we're in the process of doing it now, where everybody gets their own account.
Okay.
You actually go in and create your own account with the BluePay, and then we'll connect it for you. So, and you're welcome to. You should do that now. There's no reason not to do that now. Go get your own. They passed all my tests. They love real estate, so there's theoretically no chance they're going to pull it. And they quoted us at 1.9% rate, which is incredibly competitive. So. It's all happening. Hey, believe me, it's not happening fast enough for us either, but it's happening.
Right. And we did at one time use Stripe with FreshBooks. Way back when we were starting. So go do BluePay. That's the best. Cool.
Is that it?
I think so. Oh, good. Yeah, Carrie's on BluePay now. She said I was the 3rd one that week with the same business model.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Here we come.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to share. All of our making some changes around here. All of our attention's focused on the stuff that we're trying to get out right now.
Exactly.
So if we're not as accessible, that may be why. Bringing on some more staff. There's a new girl starting. I don't know. There's Chris who's helping us out right now, and then there's a new girl named Audrey that's going to be coming on, and so it's good.
And we have 3 or 4 vacant positions. They're all pretty heavy IT though. So
good stuff. This is probably the first day that we're sitting here before 4 o'clock. Oh, good. Oh, Jack, you want to address that? Okay.
But just tell the truth. That's all I say.
All right. The truth is.
Well, read the question, please.
The question is.
Jill and I differ on this. Shocked.
This is where
This
well,
is what Anonymous has to look forward to in his marriage.
all right. Farron asked, any news on the November meetup? And the November event was going to be like a big, huge blah. I mean, I'm going along the line. I'm getting hotels. I'm getting all kinds of pricing, banquet stuff. I mean, all this stuff going along. And as we sit down, Jack says, "Oh, I can't do that." And well, it's more like a we can't do that. So I feel so. I
Jill,
this
Jill
this
loves
is near
live
and dear to my
events.
heart, and I really want to do this. And there's so many valuable things I want to share. I haven't even really talked to Seth about this actually, so I don't know if he's on this call or not. But I have been told right now by Jack to table that again. So that's where we are.
We'll do a live event. We are releasing some. If you go to landinvestors.com and look at the products we're releasing, they're nothing short of amazing. I don't care.
Right.
And the quality and what's happening here to make your what's more important, listeners. Would you rather have a live event in November, or would you rather us release these tools that are going to make it way easier for you to make money?
I know. And that's the bottom line.
That's really how I made that decision. Are we never going to do live events again ever? No, we're absolutely going to do it. But let's do it when these core products are released and everybody's killing it, and then we have something to really celebrate about.
Mm-hmm. That's
how I look at this live event. I don't think you really learn that much. It's just a lot of horsing around and celebrating.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think we'll learn some stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have the Real Quest people there. We'll have the Title Pro people there. We'll have Data Trace there, First American Title. So it's not going to be us, just
us.
Just us.
Tools. Yeah, he wants the tools.
Man.
Thank you. Exactly. So that's really what.
Good.
That's really what it came down to, or the time it would take us to take away from some of these products. We just could not justify it, and Jack is right.
Yes, Kathleen, I would set up a merchant account.
Okay, cool.
In BluePay, not an.
Yes, we are moving on to 2018 spring training, Ron.
That'd be a better time to do it anyway, wouldn't
That's true. You know what? This is kind of like the program. We're building up so much hype by the time, gosh, I tell you, that would be fun.
So November, November's the beginning of winter back there.
Mm-hmm.
I know this from experience.
Yeah.
Right around March, you can't stand winter so much you want to, you
Mm-hmm.
want to just crawl out of your skin. So I think March would be a better time anyway.
It's not a bad idea, Ron. We could all do a group baseball event. That kind of would be. Hey, Charlie could come and talk.
Charles. I mean, that's a really good time to do that.
Oh, don't give me
the whole Charles thing.
Okay, don't give me some ideas, Jack, and let me go down this path, and then no, just kidding.
I can commit to spring of 18. I'll commit to that right now.
Would you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
We'll be done with all this stuff.
Ron, did you hear this? Farron, everyone, did you guys hear this? All right. Spring of 18?
Spring 18.
All right. I'm going to start working. Oh, then they'll be in Scottsdale, not in LA.
That's okay.
All right.
It's way cheaper there and way more
not
accessible.
Not in March.
Yeah, but in February, I think would be better.
All right.
It's just starting, the car show and all that stuff.
Okay. All right. I'll look at both. Maybe we'll do a 50-50 both. Maybe we'll do both. Okay. I think that's it.
Thanks, everyone.
Right, thank
we
you.
Appreciate you attending. I hope you got something out of it. I know I did. And we'll see you next week.
Yep. Have a good week, everyone.